Hello Mila, hello Jack, hello everybody else who's watching, and welcome to Storytime with Grandad. Today's book is from Rosie and Jim, and it is Rosie and Jim and the Snowman. One very cold morning, Rosie said, "Jim, there's a big light outside. Pop your head out, Noggin, and see what it is." Jim poked his head out. "Rosie, Rosie, come and see. It's not a big light. It's all white. Sugar, Rosie, sugar everywhere." "Sugar," said Rosie, coming to look. "Ooh, who's done that?" The boat and the houses and the trees and the path by the canal were all covered in white stuff, such as Rosie and Jim had never seen before. "Lovely," said Rosie. "Let's have a taste." She scooped up a handful of the white stuff and put it in her mouth. "Ooh, noodle noggin fizzpot. It's not sugar. It's all wet and cold and fizzy." Jim had a taste. "It's nice, Rosie. It's like ice cream. But no, it isn't sugar. At least, not like the sugar John gets at the shop." "It's made my hands all wet," said Rosie. "But Rosie," said Jim, "where did it all come from?" "How do I know, Noggin? Let's listen. John might say something." When John woke up, he did say something. He shivered and stoked up the stove and said, "Brrr, here comes winter. My goodness, there is a lot of snow. But isn't it pretty? Now, where did I put my camera?" Rosie whispered to Jim, "Did you hear that, Jim?" "Yes, Rosie. He called it snow. And Jim, he wants to take a picture of it. He must like it." John went outside to clear the snow off the boat. Rosie and Jim could hear the shouts of children playing in the snow. Jim came in for his shopping bag. Duck quacked, and Rosie said, "Duck's quacking. We can go out now, Jim. Get your bag and we'll collect some of this snow. It sounds fun to play with." Jim rushed out of the door, then rushed back again, bumping hard into Rosie. "Ow, Noggin, look where you're going," said Rosie. "Oh, Rosie, there's a great monster out there. A great big, a what?" said Rosie. "What is it, Fizzpot? Not another sheep?" "No, it's not a sheep, Rosie. It's a snow monster." "A snow monster? Oh, there's no such thing." "Let me see," said Rosie, and she ran up the steps. Rosie jumped back into the cabin and bumped hard into Jim, and they all tumbled in a heap on the floor. They sat up and rubbed themselves and looked at each other. "What is it, Rosie?" "What is it, Jim?" "It might be a snow monster." "Perhaps," said Rosie. "Perhaps it's made all this snow." "If we sit very quiet," said Jim, "and don't make any noise," said Rosie, "then it'll go away and not gobble us up." Rosie and Jim sat still and quiet a long time. Then Jim said, "Rosie, have a peep, see if it's gone." Rosie peeped through a crack in the shutter. "It's still there." "What's it doing?" Nothing, just standing there," said Rosie. Rosie and Jim watched the monster for a long time, but it never moved. "Let's go and look," said Jim. "Slowly," said Rosie, and quietly. Two very slow and very quiet rag dolls crept out of the boat. The monster stood and looked at them. It did not move. It made no sound. They crept closer, closer. "It's white," said Jim. "Like the snow," said Rosie. Do you think, said Jim. Rosie, do you think? But Jim never finished what he wanted to say. Some children came running along the towpath. They were jumping and rolling and sliding and snowballing and playing in the snow. When they saw Rosie and Jim and the monster, a girl shouted, "Look, a snowman!" And Rosie and Jim, shouted the others. "Come on." "A snowman," said Rosie. "Did you hear that, Jim? They called the monster a snowman." "That's what it is. And they're coming to play with it," said Jim. "And us," said Rosie. Rosie and Jim played in the snow with the children. What a time they all had. The children showed Rosie and Jim how to make a snowman. They made a snow Rosie and a snow Jim. They made a snow dog and a snow cat. They even made a snow duck and a snow John. Tea time came all too soon. Far away, the children's mothers called them in. "We'll have to go," they said. "Time for tea and bed." "Come again," said Rosie. "Tomorrow," said Jim. "Sure," said the children. "We'll be back. Bye." They ran off through the snow. Duck quacked. "Time for us," said Rosie. "We've played too long," said Jim. Rosie and Jim jumped into the boat, just in time to hide from John as he came slowly along the path, loaded up with his shopping. "Never mind," said Rosie. "We still have some snow to play with. I filled my bag with it." When she looked, her bag was all wet and soggy, and the snow had gone. "Oh, Noggin," she said, "where has it gone?" John had a surprise when he saw all the snow creatures. Jim woke up in the night and said, "We still don't know where it came from." "What, Noggin?" said Rosie sleepily. "The snow." "Go to sleep," said Rosie, "and never mind where it came from." The next morning they woke up and saw snow falling out of the sky. "There you are," said Rosie. "What?" said Jim. "That's where it comes from, the sky." "But who makes it?" said Jim. "Oh, Noggin," said Rosie, "where do your questions come from?" "They just come," said Jim. "Like the snow," said Rosie. "Let's go and play," said Jim. So they did. The end. Goodbye, Mila. Goodbye, Jack. I'll see you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.